The Nintendo Switch 2 finally dropped, and to not let you wait any longer, I'm going to give you my first impressions, show you some gameplay and some accessories. By the way, thanks JSAUX for sponsoring a part of this video. It's RobinB360. To start, I got the Nintendo Switch 2 without the Mario Kart World bundle, as I wanted to have a case instead of a game code, which is included in the bundle. And I really like the new logo and these red accents on the new game cases. And the Switch 2 box looks pretty clean, and it's almost in the same design as the Switch 1 box. However, the box content is a bit different, of course because of the Switch 2 itself. By the way, the screen immediately feels a lot bigger. And to quickly jump ahead, look at how cool Mario Kart World looks. It's so much fun to play, and this large 7.9-inch 1080p LCD screen is better than I expected. As I was kinda disappointed it wasn't an OLED screen, but the colors, screen size and resolution really surprised me in a positive way. It also has VRR, HDR and up to 120Hz refresh rate, so that's pretty cool as well. But getting back to the box content, you get the new Joy-Cons which increased in size, then you get these Joy-Con attachment, the new dock which also got a different look, then you get a USB-C cable and power adapter, an HDMI cable and a manual. At first look, the Switch 2 looks absolutely incredible, with its matte black color and the original Switch 1 color accents, which give it a more mature look. As mentioned, the screen size is a lot bigger and same goes for the Joy-Cons, which is a good thing in my opinion. The triggers are also bigger and the Joy-Cons itself feel a lot more ergonomic. You can still disconnect them, but in a slightly different way, by pressing this button. And they snap on easily as they connect magnetically. But no worries, as they don't come off easily without the release button. It's just sad that there aren't Hall effect sticks included to prevent stick drift. But to be fair, that would probably cause issues with the Switch 2 magnets. However, you can still use the Joy-Cons as separate controllers, so you can play with a friend and you get this controller holder which turns your Joy-Cons into a regular controller. It's not exactly the same as a regular controller, but it feels pretty good in your hands and is fairly ergonomic. You even get the C button, which lets you use a microphone. You can even use this feature for free until March 2026, so that's pretty cool. And not to mention, the vibration is noticeable, but in a subtle way that doesn't distract too much. Then there's the dock, that looks a bit more bulky, and I do actually like that, as it gives it a more sturdy look. And speaking of, the new look lets your Switch 2 stick out a bit, which I also like. And it also has the same bells and whistles like on the Switch OLED, like that included Ethernet port. I do wish Nintendo would include something like a protective case, but luckily JSAUX was kind enough to send me a complete package with a case and some other accessories. First off, I got this ultra thin carrying case that can also store your games, which is nice and clean and is great for traveling. And I like that it has the same colors as the Joy-Cons color accents. But if you want something more neutral with some extra options, you can get this black portable carrying case that can also hold your Nintendo Switch 2 so you can game on it. But if you want something stronger, you can get this shock absorbent storage case from JSAUX that can take some punches and has a cool design. Or if you want something lighter, you can try their transparent cover set that is easy to attach and has some nice grips on the back. And if you want something even more ergonomic, JSAUX has this protective case which not only looks cool, but is currently one of my favorite Switch 2 accessories. But it doesn't hold any extra Switch games. In that case, you can also get JSAUX's game card case that can hold up to 40 games and is incredibly portable. Furthermore, JSAUX offers these thumb grips in 3 different designs to get more grips on your Joy-Cons. And they also offer a racing wheel which can be fun for the kids. You even get 2. And they also offer a scratch-resistant screen protector in case you need a replacement from the Switch 2 included film, which I will talk about in a bit. And lastly, JSAUX included some stickers if you want to customize. These JSAUX accessories are a great addition for your Nintendo Switch 2. And if you want to hear more about them, make sure to see more of my upcoming videos about them. But let's get back to the Switch 2. The setup was pretty easy. You could even transfer your data from your original Switch by just following the on-screen instructions. I do needed to check carefully which account I wanted to transfer, as I have multiple Nintendo accounts, so be aware of that. Also, there's no tutorial on how to do things, at least not a free free one, because you need to pay $10 for it, which is honestly absurd. However, getting back to something positive, that larger screen already looks incredible. It has this protective coating on it, which according to Nintendo you are supposed to leave on as it protects your screen, so don't take it off. Before continuing, this isn't my full Nintendo Switch 2 review, it's my first impressions. That's because I wanted to take my time and review it after some thorough testing. So if you want to make sure you don't miss my full review and all my Nintendo Switch 2 tips and how-to videos and more videos about the Switch 2 accessories like the ones from JSAUX, make sure to subscribe, and while you're at it, drop a like on this video. So the Switch 2 has this nice new logo on the back and also has this kickstand, which is still white but doesn't look as sturdy as on the Switch OLED, but it gets the job done. You still have the same volume buttons and power button and a headphone port. Something new that I do like is that you now have two USB-C ports, so you can charge your Switch 2 while connecting a different device. When booting up the Switch 2, you get presented with a similar menu screen that looks crisp but doesn't bring much new, so that's a bit underwhelming. You do however get some new options like changing the resolution to 4K, set up 120Hz and more. But we'll get more into that in my upcoming full review. The games insert the same way, you just need to download and update before playing them. I only got Mario Kart World for now, but I will definitely get more games in the near future. Playing games works as fast and maybe faster than before, and the bigger screen, although not OLED, looks very sharp, vibrant, and the blacks are pretty good. The colors are very punchy, but I do wish there was an OLED model available at launch. But Nintendo will probably release it in a few years from now. Another small feedback point are the bezels. Especially on the side, they could have been smaller to get even more screen real estate. Also, the screen does look very reflective in this video, but I haven't noticed that too much during gaming, at least indoors, as I still need to try it outdoors. The sound is also pretty good, it's very clear and has a slight bass, although it could have a bit more bass in my opinion. Still, if that bothers you, you can connect a headphone. But just look at how good this screen looks. The bigger screen is just such a blessing for handheld games and gamers like me that want to immerse themselves into a game while on the go. And Mario Kart World is also incredible. This game looks and plays fantastic. It feels familiar while still feeling fresh and new. There's just so much to do in this game and it's absolute chaos in a good way. It does look so good on this big screen, but it does look even better on a TV. Just look at it for a few seconds. I did, however, would like to see more exclusive games at launch, like Donkey Kong, Metroid, and maybe some others, but I guess we need to wait for that for a bit. I also would have loved to see a new Zelda game, but for the time being, you can play your Switch 1 Zelda games. As for Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, you can purchase an upgrade for $10 or get it for free if you have Nintendo Switch Online for the time you have a subscription, which gives you access to better frames and graphics and some other new cool features. And the upgrade definitely shows. This game now looks and feels as it always should have been in my opinion, and I believe this is what I will be playing until some new exclusives drop. Just a note, not all games do get an upgrade. Some do and some don't. Games like Zelda get a paid upgrade, others are free, which can be confusing for new buyers. I just wish Nintendo gave those upgrades for free on all games. I also held off on buying Street Fighter 6, which has a game key card instead of a regular game card, which is basically a key instead of a real game card, which is very disappointing because we don't know what will happen if Nintendo decides to stop supporting the Switch 2. And that's a big bummer, because Street Fighter 6 looks very good on a Nintendo Switch 2. As for the new console feeling, it does feel new but not as a completely new console, if that makes any sense. Nintendo normally innovates in its design and features a lot, and this time it does look too familiar. On one hand I get it because the Switch 1 is already pretty good in design and features, but it would be pretty exciting to get something completely new. So am I impressed by the Nintendo Switch 2? On one hand, yes, on the other hand, no. The games look and play fantastic, the ergonomics are great, but on the other hand, there are much things that are crazy, like the paid instruction, not all games getting an automatic upgrade, and more. Also, the Nintendo policies got really bad. as you're not actually owning games anymore and they break your device if you mod it. But I will talk about that in the full review. So make sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss that, drop a like to support the channel, and share your thoughts or questions about the Switch 2 in the comments. Then click right here to watch the next video. See you there.